Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my little eagle moss fleet, which has grown slightly, rather considerably larger over the past month. Well, 2 months. Yes, quite a lot indeed. And all of which I'm pretty proud of. Well, mostly. I make this video as a, a sort of, I don't know, a sort of showcase of each of the models, but also some of their errors, and the errors pertaining to them. You see, some of them have some avoidable errors. I mean, some little things that you can kind of expect every once in a while, but others have design issues, and others are to do with the stands. So, starting in chronological order, I don't know, we have NX-01 Enterprise, Jonathan Archer's ship from the titular series, Star Trek Enterprise. Very nice indeed. Unfortunately, these little plastic bits on the port side of both of the nacelles are wonky. Well, bent anyway. So it's a little off. But it's perfectly fine on the starboard sides. Also, if you'll recall, from my ISS Enterprise, well, these golden dome things at the end, they do actually fit quite well. Putting it back on its stand and retrieving ISS NX-01. There we go. Yeah, only problems with this were the fact that the decals were slightly off. And of course, that thing is far too small. And that's about it. Let me just put this down, because it's getting hard to hold that. Now, we get to the USS Enterprise, Kirk's Enterprise. Unfortunately, you may not be able to tell, I'll just put it down, but the words, the USS Enterprise and the NCC 1701, that's off. I'll retrieve the ISS Enterprise and I'll show it off. Well, compare. It should be more like the ISS. And yeah, it just looks off. As I mentioned, the ISS has some rather wonky nacelles, and its secondary hull was sort of rotated a bit too much or something. But also there was an issue with the stand. I had to file it down because it was causing scratches. You see, there's one. It really felt like it was slotting in and like sort of locking into place. And then somehow some dirt got onto the skin, and well, you can just about see. But there, a little patch that where some dirt got on, I rubbed it off, and it took some of the skin with it. And I had to put that skin back on. Very painstaking work. So yeah. Oof. Still not quite very well done. Speaking of stands, here's my massive NX refit, which is absolutely gorgeous. At one point I just couldn't stop holding it. It was just beautiful. Oh, it really feels plastic, but well, actually the bottom is plastic, but it's so good quality. Just put it down. Unfortunately, the same can't be said for its stand, which, well, let's try to let the SS Enterprise stand up by itself. Oh my god, I caught my thumb on it, the camera. Okay. Okay, one, it doesn't go on far enough, and two, well, it just does that. Come on, get out of there. No. And that's caused a problem now because it's locked itself there. Well, this was so stubborn that I filed it down. Perhaps a bit too much, because now it's just a bit, yeah, doesn't hold on. So I've had to keep this thing standing by placing it under these, which means these DVDs and such, they've become a part of my desk in order to keep the SS Enterprise standing, so it doesn't look pathetic. Next up, Enterprise A. First issue I noticed, this has been printed in such a way that the 1 in 1701 hasn't really been printed properly. It's been printed on the crevice. Same with the R, so yeah, it's now NCC 701A. Oh dear. But the biggest issue with Enterprise A is, well, see if you can notice. I'll give you a hint. It's got 2 starboard nacelles. In other words, if you don't know what starboard means, it's got 2 nacelles that are supposed to be on the right-hand side of the ship. How do I know? Because, well, the port nacelle, the left nacelle, that little fin there is supposed to be on this side. Fuck me, it almost fell off. This side. The other side. And as if that wasn't enough, it's also a poorly built one. It's got quite a seam that's missing. Like, it's really bad. And I risked damage. Probably did actually put a few tooth marks in with my little multi-tool here. Squeezed as hard as I was willing to squeeze, and it didn't close up. So that's nice. Now I've got to put it down, click into place. Next we have the Enterprise B, and there's nothing really wrong with the Enterprise B structurally. Physically, it's well done. literally nothing wrong with how it's constructed. Only thing that really bothers me is the fact, well, paint has been chipped somehow before I got it. Like, something tells me that the box it came in, it was already ripped, like it was used. Focus. How about I turn the light off? Yeah. I just noticed there's something up over there. Just can't see it. Something there, probably from the stand as well. But yeah, the paint has been chipped in places. Like it was played with or something, or dropped. So, yeah. I'm not too upset about it. And staying with the theme of Excelsior class, here's mine, or rather, the second one. Yes, I accidentally bought a second Excelsior because I bought the Defiant, Voyager and Excelsior pack, but previously I'd ordered another Excelsior. That one over there, which I've boxed up because it is inferior. Put this down again. Get this out. Right. So one of the most striking differences is the colour of the nacelle glows. On this one, it's rather pale. But it's a lot darker on that one, so can't quite see it in that light. But trust me, this one has paler nacelles. This one, not so much. I'd like to put the good Excelsior back on its stand and show off the most glaring issue with the old one. Look at that nacelle. It's bent, well, it's wonky as all fuck, and the same can pretty much be said about the starboard nacelle. Both the nacelles are wonky. Oh joy. So let's put it back in its box because, well, I don't know what to do with it. Next up, Enterprise C. Yeah. And it's captured a Galore class. Oh dear. Oh no, the Galore's gonna fall off. Oh. Grab the Enterprise. Ah, I've turned on that. Right. Galore is back on. Right. Enterprise C. Rather shoddy bottom piece made of clearly plastic, and it also seems to be coming off a little bit. The nacelles, well, there's another case of large gap that can't be closed. Couple of phaser strips are missing, and also, well, apparently the Enterprise C never had an impulse drive. so it's not going anywhere. And also that really tacky deflector dish. Ugh. Otherwise, it's quite nice. I really like it otherwise. Let's put it down. Oh look, the Enterprise D. There's actually not much wrong with it. Standard production errors, really. Nothing to complain about. And then there's the Enterprise E, which is so underwhelming. I mean, look at it. It's a huge ship in Star Trek, and it's tiny. It feels like it was made for a baby. Not to mention, well, that chip wasn't caused by... that wasn't caused before I got it, that was caused by the stand. It decided it was going to eat the Enterprise E. Also, there was a nasty burr there that I had to chop off. I think you can just about see the remains of it. Next up, the Cardassian galore. Ooh. Little bit of a visible seam on each side of the fishtail. But no, the biggest problem with the galore is, well, that happened. And so it's a little bit broken, but it's not so broken as to be, oh my god, Eagle Moss, the quality of your models is crap. No. It goes on quite nicely. Oh my god, this thing is very hot. Think I'll cool the camera down for a moment. Okay, so the camera has cooled down a little bit, so we'll be continuing. My next ship, the Klingon Katinga class battlecruiser, had much the same problem as the Galore. Its bridge module was wonky. However, I learned from fiddling around with the Galore not to fiddle around too much with the Katinga. So yeah, it's gonna be wonky for a good long while. And there's another reason why I don't like the Enterprise E's stand much. It's not particularly strong. Like, it'll eat away at the paint, but it won't grip the ship, which is a problem. Bloody hell. Next up is the Earthship Intrepid. Now, I never really got it... Oh, there we go. Never really got it off with one hand before. This is a nice ship. It's really chunky. I like it. Like, if this was a toy, I'd play with this one a lot. Ooh dear, Voyager. No. Yeah. The only glaring error is that one of the nacelles is a little too close to the hull. And so it's made a little bit of a mark in the paint that underneath. But it's literally right where the contact point is, so no real error there. only really glaring defect is this seam on the starboard nacelle, and that's it, really. This is a nice ship, I like it. It's also not supposed to have a name. So, yeah. Nice ship. Good tea. Nice house. Put that back on. Three more. I do want to say that I've got two other ships on the way, but it's going to be a while because they're out of stock at the moment, and the people at Eagle Moss tell me they don't know when the next new stock is coming, so yeah, if I don't have them by the beginning of next year, I'm getting my money back. Hopefully. I mean, they haven't delivered the stuff. If they fail to deliver, surely I can get the money back. But anyway, let's move on to Voyager. One of my most recent additions. Little meh at that sort of 3-forward era, kind of. Really like Voyager. It's one of the most recognisable starships in my opinion. Only real problems: Shuttle Bay is non-existent, and I don't seem to remember the rear of the nacelles having a bit of a lip. Otherwise, nice model. Like it. One of my favourite ships. Oh, look at it. Look at it. Rick Sternbach, you magnificent bastard. Here's what's currently the most recent release. Not for much longer. The Earth Warp Delta, also known as Jupiter, also known as Challenger, also known as the Ganges. Officially, it's just called the Warp Delta. Also known as Emmet type, but meh. Really nice little ship. If this was also a toy, yeah, if this was a toy as well, I'd play with it. Only real error, this bit not touching. But yeah, that's it. Nothing wrong with it. I like it. Good model. And then we come to the worst offender, really. USS Defiant. Oh god, this was so disappointing. I mean, visually it is stunning, and you know, I may be disappointed with it a little, but I'm kind of not. I don't really have anywhere to put this camera. I don't have a tripod, and maybe I should invest in one. What can I do? Oh god. Hot already. Right. Right. So, it looks chunky, but it's not. It's actually really thin. That kind of was a little let down to discover it wasn't as thick as I thought it was going to be. Then there's the name and registry on the sides of the nacelles. They are ridiculously small. Far too small. Just rubbishly small. There's the lack of impulse engines. These little dots, they're supposed to be red and there's nothing there. So, yeah, that's great. But here's the worst thing. The nose cone is a separate entity, and because nothing's perfect in the world, it's ever so slightly off-centre. So that's great. Oh, but that's not it. Apparently, apparently the nose was a detachable section that could be used as a warhead. Where in Deep Space Nine did it say that? That the entire nose cone of the USS Defiant was a giant torpedo. It looks so rubbish. It looks tacky. It's just wrong. If it was a solid piece, I would love it. But now it's just a distant third, almost. I mean, the rest of it's stunning, but it just lets it down. That's the camel. That's the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak. Oh dear. So disappointed. And then there's the stand, which, yeah, okay, it's difficult to make a stand for something that doesn't have very many good places to put it. So they put it, the way they made it was that it slots onto the very edges of the tail section, which means if you knock it in the slightest, it falls off. Yeah. And since I am not particularly light anymore, if I sit down in this chair of mine, I can sometimes cause enough of a tremor that it just falls down, so yeah. But otherwise, yeah. I'm mostly happy with this fleet, particularly with the Intrepid, because I like it. Have a good one, folks, and good night.